Good morning. It's Monday, July 17th, and we have such an incredible week that we're in the middle of. We've been unlocking and opening up this story of deeper self-worth, deeper self-trust, faith, confidence, facing our fears, coming into our soul incarnation, claiming our dreams for our life. Like, we have been in such an epic transition in our lives. And this is such a pivotal week. And I just feel so grateful to be a part of it. I was sharing before I hit the record about some really specific and personal things that are happening in my life that are bringing me into greater confidence, even more epic belief in myself, faith in my voice, in my soul, etc. And I hope that you are also experiencing that right now. I hope that you're getting that confirmation. I hope that you're encountering your greatest fears and seeing that they don't hold a candle to the reality of your soul. And before I get started, I want to ask you all to time travel if you can. If you have a planner, if you've been journaling, if you've been taking notes on your year, time travel back to April 20th. April 20th, we had a total solar eclipse at the very final degree of Aries. It was the first Aries eclipse in an 18-month Aries eclipse cycle, Aries Libra eclipse cycle. And that solar eclipse, it was an interesting and rare phenomenon because we had two new moons in Aries this year. We had one at the very beginning of the Aries season and one at the very end of the Aries season. And on the 20th, it was a Thursday of April, there may have been some sort of vacuum of question open into your world, some sort of eclipse-like vacuum that opened up a question, that offered in a shred of doubt. It would have altered your state of security to a degree, inviting us into even deeper integrity with our personal security. It might have opened up dependencies that we still held in regards to relationship, that we still put our personal soul security into. And if you're able to remember that far back, or if you're able to kind of wrap your mind around what you were a part of during that time, the last, April, May, June, July, 3 months have developed that story, have pushed us to the very bare bones of our internal security. And today we're starting a new Aries North Node cycle with a new moon in Cancer. So this is a very emotional new moon. It's a very vulnerable new moon. Something that is not often talked about Aries energy is that Aries, it's Mars and it's like fire and cardinal, and it's the infant that is just barely born, that is completely dependent on the faith of its environment, its parents, the people in its world to deliver all of its needs to it. It's it's like you're born naked and crying. That's Aries. And so if you find that you feel a little stripped down, if you feel a little raw, if there's no more layers of conditioning and inauthenticity laying over the top of your soul right now, because maybe you felt a little shredded, not shredded like your life is just shredding you, but shredded in that whatever beliefs you held that were not true, whatever little doubts come up that try to recreate the past instead of allowing a new future to exist, this shredding of these old timelines and stories, limitations of that would keep you from even dreaming your dreams, all of that is being shredded, has been shredded, will continue to be shredded. And this week is actually a week where we can take an inventory of that shredding. And, a song that was coming up for me when I was reflecting on the initiation for this week was that Taylor Swift song, "Hi, it's me, I'm the problem, it's me." Like I kind of used to be really annoyed by the simplicity of that song, and I was like always like digging into it more because it was kind of catchy, and I wanted it to have like some really strong, deep meaning. And now that I'm in this week, I'm like, oh, you know what? Maybe not everything has to be so dramatic. Maybe it doesn't all have to be so deep. Maybe it could be as simple as like, oh, you're right. It was me. I was responding from this thing inside of me. Easy. I'm gonna just own that. I'm gonna take responsibility, but I'm not gonna berate myself for it. I'm just gonna say, yep, oh, sorry. Now that I'm aware of that, I'm going to release that and move on. Let's keep it light. Let's keep it simple. Let's not berate ourselves. Let's have some compassion for the fact that we're learning, we're uncovering things. And these new parts of us are learning something. They're learning something for the very first time. So if we were like an infant, if we were childlike, and we came into something that we didn't even realize we were thinking or doing or limiting ourselves through, we can just say, oh, sorry, I just didn't know before. And now I do. And okay, I'm moving on. So the Four of Cups, or the Four of Water, is the week of initiation that we're in, and I call it the week of humble humans, humble humanity. And it's a week where we can notice where, you know, it has an image of a person sitting under a tree staring at these three cups, kind of like disappointed, and there's another offer coming in the background that maybe this person's not seeing because they're so fixated on these three cups that were here. And if you remember, the Three of Cups is about celebrating and like how, unwinding, deconstructing, like letting it all go. And so this could be a week where I'm going to actually give you two anecdotal examples from people I've spoken to in my world in the last week. I had a really dear friend contact me and tell me that she was feeling a little heartbroken because she was witnessing her ex-husband on vacation. And she was like, gosh, like, oh, it just hurts. So this is her. She was sitting under the tree and she was looking at the old cups. Like she was looking at the past cups, and she was feeling like, dang it. Like there he is celebrating with this new person, and look at, what am I doing? I'm sitting at home. I don't have anyone to do that with. And she could have stayed in that situation and sat under that tree. And a part of her dissatisfaction actually drove her to download a dating app finally, after being divorced for like 2 years, downloaded a dating app, and she started meeting people right away. And in fact, she started talking to someone who feels ultra super aligned with her and who's like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know that people like this existed. And she's gone on a couple dates with this person now. And she called me and she was like, this is actually, the energy's moving actually kind of fast. And I'm like, oh my gosh, do I even want to enter a serious relationship now, even though everything is aligning really well? And this is this cup coming from the universe saying, and there's more. This is the Four of Cups, but guess what? There's 10 cups. You're looking at the three cups. Here's a fourth one, and we're gonna have 10 eventually. Like, I have a journal. I have a journal that I specifically put cards into the so the very first page has an image of the moon, because I wanted this to be something about uncovering the unconscious, uncovering the mystery. And the very last page, I put a picture of the Ten of Cups, because I imagined that on my journey through this journaling process, I would reconcile my Ten of Cups, my deepest emotional fulfillment. And it's important to know when we're out of Four of Cups that we are not even halfway on the journey. Like there's a whole cups journey that happens, and the 10 of cups and the closure of the cups doesn't happen until Pisces season. And so we're in a part of the journey where we're embarking emotionally with our passion, with the earth, with our resources, with our integrity, with our confidence. We're embarking on an emotionally fulfilling journey, and we're not there yet. And we're never all completely there, but to kind of give ourselves some compassion for the part of the journey that we're on, and to say, okay, it's okay. Like, the problem is, I thought I should be further along by now. The problem is, I thought that the thing I was getting, the other anecdote I had was, my daughter really wanted these mermaid fins. She's been wanting them for years. She's been dreaming about getting mermaid fins. And finally, I thought she was a strong enough swimmer to get the mermaid fins. And so I ordered them. I wanted them to arrive before we went on vacation, but they didn't. So she had to endure our entire vacation knowing that they were probably in our mailbox, and she'd have to wait till the vacation was over to get them. So we get home, they're at the office. We can't get in until the next day. So she's here, so much buildup, so much anticipation for this thing that she saw 2 years ago on an older girl who was swimming. There's an older girl who had this, and it was so idealized. This older girl was so beautiful and magical in her mermaid tail. And so all this fantasy and all this. So finally we get the mermaid tails, and I ordered some extra stuff because I really wanted to make sure this would be good for her. But when she got it, her fantasy of what she wanted and what it actually was, and the way it looked on her, didn't match the image she had when she initially dreamed for it. And so here she was, so disappointed, in 100% meltdown, despair. She was angry. If I represented the universe to her, the universe delivered something she had wanted for a long time. It made her wait for it and anticipate it. And then what it delivered didn't seem like it matched her fantasy. And she was angry with me, so angry, like writhing in rage, because this thing didn't match her fantasy, and pushed me away and pushed me away. And I, knowing, from the frame of a parent and understanding what I understand, and knowing like how important this concept will be for her in the long run, even though this was really deeply felt, I just maintained confidence. I didn't take it personally. I just held space for her. And when she transitioned from rage to despair, this is a pattern in us. Sometimes we're so angry that we can't even open up to the energy that's under the anger, which is deep sadness, deep despair. And in that despair, that's when we humbly open. And in that humbleness, like, oh, please I just deeply, deeply long for this. Please, I deeply long for it. In that humbleness of open-heartedness, that's when we actually receive the love from the universe. And literally, this process happened. She opened up. I was able to lay next to her while she was sobbing. And I introduced, you may be seeing this from a skewed perspective. I was able to introduce just a little bit of doubt into the certainty of her belief that was making her sad. And from that place, she first resisted it, and then she accepted, maybe I do remember it differently. Maybe there is a way for me to work with this and make it work. And then she was open to the possibility that this might actually be her answered prayer. And we were able to do the thing. And by 2 hours later, she was swimming like a beautiful mermaid in the pool. So happy, so overjoyed. Like, it was worth all of it, because she actually got to have the experience that she was imagining, which wasn't receiving the thing in the mail. That's not what she really wanted. It wasn't trying it on in her room. That's not the experience. The experience she really wanted was the ease of swimming in the pool with this mermaid tail on. And because the first initial receiving wasn't swimming in the pool, there was a huge gap between her experience and her desired state. This is the Four of Cups. We're looking at the experience and we're saying, this is not delivering my desired state. And I don't know what like I've done wrong. She had not done anything wrong. She had not created the situation. She simply had a gap between her perception and her experience. And when she was able to release and humbly receive a little bit of guidance and help, and then have the patience to follow through, to have the experience, it's everything she's ever wanted. She's so happy. But this is the week we're in, and we are, when I wrote this a few years back, I was less compassionate to myself. I'm talking about how the shit's hitting the fan and it's our shit and it's a big mess and we have to clean it up and blah. Like, I was definitely in a less compassionate state. And moving forward, as I edit these, I have grown so much in my self-love and compassion. And some of these are going to have to change, because the message for this week has nothing to do with smelling our own shit and realizing that we're the only ones that can clean it up. That's not the message. The message is, sometimes the attachment to the past idea of what we think will give us the experience is what needs to be released. The experience is something that it's in the future, it's in the moment, it's in the moving with the new circumstances that are being delivered, like the cup. It's in witnessing that the universe is always trying to deliver the cups of our fulfillment, always. And we might narrow our view of what that should be. And like, I shared a little personal anecdote before I started this recording, but can you see how, if I am super attached to the way that my world should be, I could potentially cause an incredible amount of attachment suffering that could maybe prevent me from actually moving into something that's deeply what I desire, deeply what I am longing for. And so this is just the time to be compassionate with the ego. I did not berate her for crying on the floor. I knew exactly the suffering that her ego was causing her, what her desire, her limited perception and belief of what would give her the feeling she wanted. I had so much compassion for her because I understand. I've had that experience so many times. It was easy for me to see from an objective perspective when it's about like a mermaid tail, right? But the proverbial mermaid tail is just a vehicle for a way of moving in the world, having a sensation in the world that we really want. And maybe it's not the same as the one that her friend had, but maybe it does the thing just as well. So that's really what the initiation this week's about. And as I broke down the day by day, I honestly got so much information for each day. I'm going to try to keep it clear and linear and concise, but just know there's some overarching themes that last all week long. And then there's the granular way that it progresses through the week. And as a reminder, these are energies that ripen. And our preference for ripening, we could like things pre-ripe. We could like to proactively pull things from the tree. We might like to let them sit on our counter for a little while. We might like to let them stay on the tree until they fall off. We all have different preferences for how we prefer our experiences to be consumed by us. And so just know that the overarching sensation is one. First of all, we are changing beyond our fear. That's one of the overarching themes. And we are having the boldness to claim. We're humble. We're humbly human and we're allowing ourselves the compassion to change beyond our fear, and we're having the boldness to claim something that we've never experienced before. It's like, if you think about a baby, the baby's not even boldly claiming what it wants. It just innately cries out for it. It's not even having an ego about it. The baby literally has no ego. It just calls out humbly, please, please. Like, it doesn't even say please, doesn't even, just says, wow, I like something, I need this, I want it, I desire it, I must have it. And so the boldness to claim, please integrate some of whatever that energy is that you would imagine as you see an infant. Know that your soul has the birthright of that energy to have that relationship with the universe. And then to change beyond fear. So that is the North Node moving to Aries. That's what that energy is. The change beyond fear is the fact that Uranus is in a loose, like a tightening square with Black Moon Lilith all week long. Will continue to, like, it's so close. It's about a degree off. We're having tangible experiences that are triggering a uprising that's causing us to face our fear for greater sustainability of our tangible desires and dreams. So we're having this energy that's just going to consistently be holding us in that space of, where's the next fear? Push it, like, communicate there, be honest with yourself there. So now if I go to Sunday, the moon was in Cancer. What I have here is we also have Mercury coming into a square with Jupiter. Okay, so Black Moon Lilith and Mercury are over in Leo, okay? Uranus and Jupiter are over in Taurus. These are both fixed signs. Because we have a relationship between two planetary systems and these fixed signs, the square is going to feel like, oh man, like, that's so deep in there. Like, it's not like moving fast. It's sort of like, oh man, that thing was rooted in there so deep. I really need to take my time to wiggle that little root, and I need to water the root, and I need to have some patience with this root as I'm bringing it to the surface. I need to be compassionate with myself because it's not a simple thing. It's deep. So there could have been a declaration on Sunday of a growth initiation, a declaration of something that it's going to take some growth and some courage to move through. It's like, I am going to pull that tuber weed out. I am going to do it. I am going to commit to settling my foundation. I am. And I'm afraid of the work. I'm afraid of I'm afraid I'm not enough to do it. I'm afraid I might not do it elegantly, but I'm declaring that in order for me to move into the space that I want to go, I have to release this root, this weed, this thing that's impeding in the foundation that I'm laying for my life. And so that declaration would have happened yesterday, and then today we've got some integrity alignment. And there's a few different words, there's a few different things happening. I talked about how Mercury is in square to Jupiter. This could be a bold statement, something that we must communicate either to ourselves or to someone else. That's our truth, that's our authentic expression, that is necessary for the foundational stability. So there might be something, we declared it yesterday, but the actual person we need to declare it to might be today. We've got a new moon in Cancer. The declaration is going to set off a new seed of safety, security, emotional fulfillment. We might not feel it right away, but it's something mandatory in order to move in that direction. And then the North Node moving into Aries is bringing that boldness claim. So it's a day for being bold. It's a day for aligning with our integrity in our words, in our actions, in our deeds. Deeds and actions are the same thing. So then on Tuesday, the moon will move into Leo. We still have those larger energies in happening, ripening for us. But the words I have here are, so who am I really? So we've made this declaration, we've moved into integrity. So who am I really? Can I give myself some new roles, labels, identities that really align? It's like a new I am statement. I am able to do this. I am supported. I am confident and secure. I am in my integrity. On Wednesday, the sun will be in a trine to Neptune. So the sun is moving to the late degrees of Cancer. Neptune is in Pisces. This is a water trine. This is spiritually open and potentially emotional. It's connecting to a higher vision, an ideal. And this is happening while the moon is opposite Mercury and Black Moon Lilith. Is it opposite? No, it's conjunct. Sorry. The moon's going to come into, it's going to cross over Black Moon Lilith. It's going to cross over Mercury. So as the moon crosses over, the conversation that we had, the bold statements that we've made, the fears that we've had to face, we're realizing that we can do that because the ideal we're moving toward is worth it. The divine love we're moving toward, the vision we're moving toward is worth it. So on a small scale, there may be some, wow, okay, I'm going to face this. I'm going to face it. But what's so much stronger is my consciousness of that ideal. And the words I have for Wednesday are presence is key. Just be present. Be present with the fear, be present with what you receive. Be present to the new cup that's being presented to us. Look around. Is there an opportunity that's like being dropped in our laps on Wednesday? Then on Thursday, wow, Thursday, it's a strong commitment day. The words I have are committing to the ideal, the vision, and claim it. And the reason why I've got this strong commitment vibe here is because Mars, the planet of action, will be opposite Saturn, the planet that's trying to deliver and align us with the structure of our soul's desires. We've got the moon moving into Virgo, which is a very discerning, very grounded, process-oriented sign. We've got the sun still trine Neptune. The energy of this day will be one that brings things to earth. And so committing to the ideal vision and claiming it, we're gonna do something that will bring it to earth and make it real. So this could be signing a contract. This could be putting in a deposit. This could be claiming a date for something. You could be putting your money where your mouth is, so to speak. On Friday, the words I have are drawing the line. So we made the commitment, we declared it on Sunday, we made the commitment on Thursday, and now we're drawing a line in the sand that's saying, once I step over this line, there's no going back. This is a Chiron it's a trine, so it's a harmonious healing of our wound in Aries through drawing the line Mercury. That we've got to draw this line and create this boundary in order for us to continue becoming this thing that we have claimed. And so we draw the line, and then on Saturday, we burn the boats. So if you know the expression burning the boats, burning the boats are I guess the phrase came because this soldier was going to take an island, and they knew that the island had its own boats, and they didn't want any chance of retreat. And so when they all went to the island, they burned the boats behind them, so there was no chance for retreat. So this is a kind of energy, you're not going to war, but this is a kind of energy where you have discovered where the back doors are, and you hard burn the boats. You close the doors, you cut off the lines, you say whatever you need to say so that that option is closed, because that means that all of your energy is committed to the task in front of you, and there's no other way to go. And so I also have a few other energies that start on Saturday, because that's when Venus will begin moving her retrograde motion. She's stationing all week. She's staying at 28 degrees. She's staying at this like real deep, heartfelt position of like, I know what my heart wants. I know what it desires. I know what I'm longing for. When she starts to retrograde, she's going to begin this realignment to, and what is there anything else I should know? Is there anything else I should align to? Is there anything else that I should be committed to? So it's almost as if you got to the island, you burned the boats of the past, and now you're focused solely on opening your heart to the new cup that's being delivered to you. And I had in my notes from earlier, from when I created the planner, that a good way to approach Saturday and beyond is to imagine that every day for the next month and maybe 40 days, imagine that every day is your last day. It's your last day on earth. Is this how you want to spend it? And I know it sounds like a lot of pressure, but man, what would you say? Who would you talk to? Where would you go? What would you like? It's not necessarily an energy of like, let's just burn money because, hey, it's my last day, I don't have any consequences. It's more of an energy of like, so what are the experiences that your soul wants to have that's going to help you to align to the new things your heart's embracing? So I know that this moon day was a lot longer than usual, but there was just so much. It feels like such a pivotal week, and it just felt really important to expand on some of these topics. So I'm just gonna open up the talk now, and if we need to take a little bit of extra time, we can. Hold on.